with your hosts, Mase and Cam.
We did it, baby. We back.
Niggas is back.
We did it, Beth. We did it, man. Yeah, man. 53 years, we back, baby.
And Stat got to see it.
Yeah, man.
You got to see it.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of Stat Phil. Plus, we know a lot of people who ain't see it, man. It's a long list,
Stat,
man.
you got to see it.
Yeah, man.
You know what? I knew they was gonna do it. I had to put a little bit of motivation behind them. Pause. You know,
I bet 10,000 for the series started on the Knicks.
You know, sometimes when you got little brothers, you gotta motivate them. You gotta tell them
like
stuff that get them encouraged to do something. You know?
Yeah, it definitely
And
be
they
like
did
that.
it.
Yeah, man. We back.
We back.
We back, man.
So everything y'all said has been motivational. That was motivation, right? That's
You gotta motivate your team. That's part of being a good coach.
See, and the thing about it is people are misconstruing the words. Because you know why nobody likes to make sense. We already went through that.
that part.
We said we don't trust them. We didn't say we don't want them to win. We don't say we didn't think they could win.
He's a wordsmith.
Yeah,
He's a wordsmith.
we're wordsmiths. So you got to pay attention to what we said. We don't trust them. It wasn't the roster. It was the jersey. Now we can bring the jersey back out.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is an official Diplomat Knicks jersey. New York, I bet y'all didn't even know you all had a flag. This is a New York flag. If people didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a New York flag. People in New York don't even know we got a flag, man. So here we go, right here, man. This is the New York flag.
What color is the flag? Blue and orange?
Look.
But it's blue and orange.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
You didn't know. That's what I'm saying.
I'm helping you out sell your story. I knew it was a blue and orange.
You know, Mason's on my chest for it. I don't need any help. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, man, I'll just let niggas know. Shout out to James Dolan.
Yeah.
You know, I fuck with the owners, the patient, the people who's patient who pay everybody, man. You gotta fuck with the people who pay everybody, man.
Shout out to Worldwide West, man.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the niggas who pay nigga. He get paid too.
Again, of course, congratulations to the Knicks. We never really spoke specifically on Finals MVP, which shout out to Jalen Brunson because he was the winner of that. So we're just gonna get into it, Mase. From everything we've seen, right? Does this make Jalen Brunson the league's best point guard right now?
Yeah, I mean that's common sense. That goes without saying. It doesn't matter what SGA did, his sneakers, the chrome hard on the bottom of those sneakers. SGA is right there, but with this performance that I seen in a closeout season, it just what have you done for me lately? You know where we from? We from New York. Everything could change. It could change tonight. You know what I'm saying? Not tomorrow. Tonight it could change. The performance that Jalen Brunson gave in that closeout game, his resilience when they was bumping him off the picks, they was trying to throw him to the floor. One time they knocked him into the scoreboard. It's like you're not gonna rattle him, and he just comes from a basketball pedigree. Sometimes the dad wants you to do well, but the mother wants you to be a violinist. You know what I'm saying? But it seemed like his mother breathes basketball, his dad breathes basketball. He's just basketball through and through. He doesn't want to do anything else. He doesn't like anything. It looked like he doesn't like anything else, and it's gonna be hard for a person that eat, sleep, and breathe basketball to not be the best player on the floor. So right now, I know before this playoffs, we had different people up there with him. He was right there with Cade. He was right there with SGA, but now he surpassed him with this performance. And you always got to say the best player is the one who got MVP. There's no way around that. How could I not be the best player? There's no way y'all have a conversation with me or Killer about I'm not the best player and I'm standing here with the trophy. So whether Killer won the championship up in Rucker at 15, if he's standing there with the MVP, he's the best player now. I don't want to hear how old everybody is and what you did before. We're going with right now. Right now, Jalen Brunson is the best player in the league.
I seen niggas get the MVP and wasn't the best player. Andre Iguodala got MVP one year because he got it LeBron James good. So they was like, give it to Iguodala. He's pretty good on defense. So it's scenarios. But listen, I gotta agree with Mase. It's hard to argue. If you're sitting there saying, if you start on the team, right, you say you want a point guard, How you don't say you don't want Jalen Brunson? And like I said, everybody who dissed Jalen Brunson is kicking themselves in the ass because Jalen Brunson, and the reason I love the nigga Jalen Brunson is because he didn't say nothing. Everybody talk shit. Even like, you know, even me and Mase, to be totally honest with you, we gonna see what he can do against Harden and Donovan Mitchell. Is different when it's more. And then you see all these sound bites of all these other sports analysts when Jalen Brunson got to the Knicks. Oh, he's too small. Becky Hammond, the coach. Oh, I don't know. She told Big Perk on ESPN, nah, he can't get it done. You need a 1A player. You don't have a 1A player on the Knicks. And then Perk was like, yo, they got a 1A player. But I ain't gonna lie, Kendrick Perkins been pumping Jalen Brunson pause for the last year and a half. And he's the only one I've seen very consistent saying that he could win a championship. He says only been gonna be 3 people, small guards, to win championships. It would be Jalen Brunson, Isaiah Thomas, and Steph Curry. I don't even put Steph Curry in that equation. First of all, Steph Curry's 6'3". Even though he's a smaller guard. Jalen Brunson 6'2", Isaiah Thomas 6'1". But Steph Curry's not even a traditional point guard. He doesn't even bring the ball up. He plays off the ball a lot. So it's really just Jalen Brunson and Isaiah Thomas.
Why not Kyrie?
We're talking about 1 championships.
Kyrie.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, that's a good point, too. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But I think that what Kendrick Perkins was trying to say, the best player, and that's arguable, too, if you want to pick him over LeBron.
Because Kyrie hit the shot to win it.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
We got to put Kyrie there.
Yeah.
Kyrie hit that
that's a great point.
Ahead 3 to win it.
That's a good point as well. Absolutely. But I guess that's the argument. But, yeah, I didn't even think about great assessment as well. That's why I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, I forgot that nigga actually won with LeBron. So, absolutely, that's a great point, Mase. So, yeah, you got Kyrie, you got Isaiah Thomas, and now you got Jalen Brunson. But I gotta agree with it right now. I'm not taking a point guard over Jalen Brunson. This is what I'm saying. This is exactly why I wanted to have Jalen Brunson go against SGA. So this wouldn't even be a conversation. Because at the end of the day, you can't get, I'm not mad at somebody gonna say SGA neither. Listen, I said SGA too, and I might tomorrow say SGA. You know, we in the moment right now for 45-point victory in the closeout.
Crazy.
It may be 3 weeks and I'll be like, nah, I'm bugging, 6'7", nigga smooth as ice. Didn't have no help really. Chet checked out. Chet checked out before the fucking series started with motherfucking San Antonio. AJ Mitchell, he was hurt, which is their second lead scorer. We talk about J-Dub, took them niggas to 7 games basically by himself, you know. So what help did he really have? Dork is just there for defense. He be football player and shit. Shout out to Dork. I think he's a great player as well. But they did a lot. Fingernail Man did something one game with them niggas. What's the nigga name? Yeah, you know that nigga name by heart.
It's like, yo.
Nigga. Yeah. He played a couple good games, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's why I really want to see that that Oklahoma City SGA against the Knicks, because it wouldn't have been no argument after that. It wouldn't have even been. Oh yeah. It wouldn't have been nothing because, like I said,
right now we still want to see it.
Yeah, because
we want to definitely see it now.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like I said, it's hard to argue. We 48 hours away from a 45-point victory.
Yeah.
But I don't know next month. Next month, I'll be like, nah, niggas is wildin'. SGA is nice. So if them 2 players would have played against each other, that would have been sensational because it would have been an argument. We would have seen who won. But as far as the shot that Stab just talking about, look, if you're a Spurs fan, I'm sitting there saying, good. Hell yeah, I was happy with that shot. I'm like, this shot ain't going. I knew that shot wasn't going in. I was ecstatic about that shot. What I wasn't ecstatic about, as a Spurs fan I'm talking about, the rebounding. But I've been saying, listen, everything I say is actually happening before the series happened. Offensive rebounds, second and third opportunities. It happened again tonight, over and over and over again. Game after game after game after game, the rebounding. And crucial moments. You sit there and don't get me wrong, I know they want to put 2 on Jalen Brunson when guarding him. But Wemby has to know
okay, I'm out here. The shot goes up. I got to go back and rush. Would he have made it and got back to when OG was at? I'm not sure. But if you look at the play, he just turns around and looks and see what the ball going to do. The tallest person on the court cannot sit there and say, okay, what's going to happen, knowing damn well that the team is struggling getting rebounds, especially when you have no power forward for the millionth time. You just don't have one. So to answer your question, Stat, I was happy with the shot Jalen Brunson took. I think this is the first game Jalen Brunson actually played decent. He's been playing, see, when you look at the box score of Jalen Brunson at the end of these games, you're like, oh, he did have 27. Oh, he did have 29. Tonight, he still didn't shoot 50%, if I'm not mistaken. I think he shot a little under 50%, but he's shooting 34% from the field in this series, shooting 32% from three. He's not shooting good whatsoever. Tonight was a little bit better. And he hits, and the reason why I look so good for Jalen Brunson is because he turns on the gas when he needs to. He's the clutch player of the year last year, actually, Jay.
What's up, Knicks fans? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're breaking down the conversation that's completely dominating New York and spreading across the entire NBA. You already know exactly what everyone's talking about. It's the same debate Mase and Cameron kicked off on their podcast. And honestly, you won't believe how divided basketball fans have become over it. Is Jalen Brunson really the best player in the NBA today? We're about to analyze this from every angle. We'll dive into the numbers supporting the case, revisit the unforgettable playoff run that changed the narrative, and examine the biggest arguments from the other side. Because if this discussion is going to happen, it deserves a real breakdown. So grab your seat, get your favorite game day snack ready, and let's roll the film. But before we go any further, there's one massive factor nobody can ignore: the championship banner hanging over this entire conversation. When you're discussing the best player in basketball, context matters more than anything else. This isn't simply about who drops the biggest scoring night during a random game in November. It's about who delivers when every possession carries championship pressure. And that's exactly what Jalen Brunson accomplished this past season. He led the New York Knicks, a franchise that had waited more than 5 decades for another championship, all the way to the top. This wasn't merely an impressive postseason, it was a defining moment. After spending years being labeled as a dependable player or even underestimated, he carried the weight of an entire city and finally snapped that 53-year title drought. That achievement alone forces people to include his name in the conversation for the league's best player. One person who didn't hesitate to make that case was Skip Bayless. And before you roll your eyes, hear this out. Skip makes plenty of bold claims, but this time he offered an argument that actually got people thinking. During an appearance on Gil's Arena, Bayless argued that Brunson's NBA Finals performance proved he's currently the best player in basketball. He pointed directly to Brunson's fourth-quarter dominance against the 7'6" defensive phenomenon Victor Wembanyama. Scoring against an average defense is one thing. Finishing off a championship against a once-in-a-generation talent like Wemby is something completely different. That's exactly why this debate has become so intense. That playoff run completely reshaped Brunson's legacy. During the regular season, he posted averages of 26 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 6.8 assists. Those numbers already placed him among the NBA's elite. But once the postseason arrived, he reached an entirely different gear. He raised that level even higher in the postseason, averaging 28.4 points per game, improving he was far more than just a regular season star. He became the heartbeat of the top team in the Eastern Conference. And it wasn't only about the numbers on the stat sheet, it was about when those moments happened and how he delivered under pressure. We watched him explode for 40-plus points multiple times during the regular season, proving he could completely take over a game offensively. Then, on the biggest stage in the finals, facing a defense built specifically to slow him down, he still found a way to carry his team across the finish line. He even dropped 45 points in the championship-clinching game. Those are the performances that separate great players from good ones, and the absolute elite from everyone else. If we're seriously putting Brunson in the conversation with today's biggest superstars, then we also have to measure him against the names that have dominated the league for years. The list is familiar: Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Whenever MVP discussions begin, those are usually the first players everyone mentions. During the 2026 regular season, Brunson wasn't viewed as the leading candidate. But remember, the MVP recognizes regular season performance. The case for Brunson being the NBA's best player goes beyond points and box scores. It's about winning at the highest level. It's about leadership. It's about that fearless, clutch mentality Knicks fans haven't consistently seen since the Patrick Ewing era. He may not pile up triple-doubles like Jokic or possess Giannis's unbelievable athletic gifts, but what Brunson brings is unwavering confidence and a mid-range game that becomes even more valuable when playoff basketball slows down. Now, let's zoom out and consider the bigger historical picture. Winning a championship as the unquestioned leader of your team instantly changes how basketball history remembers you. That's exactly why Bill Simmons made headlines. On his podcast, he ranked Brunson at number 40 on his all-time NBA list. That's an enormous statement. Simmons even placed him ahead of legendary point guards like Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, and James Harden. Nash and Harden both own MVP trophies. They collected the regular season honors, but neither captured a championship as the undisputed centerpiece of their team. Brunson has that accomplishment. That's the kind of value a title adds to a legacy. Simmons even compared Brunson's championship run to Dwayne Wade's unforgettable 2006 postseason. That's incredibly rare company. Wade led the Heat to a title while Shaq played a supporting role. Brunson accomplished something remarkably similar with the Knicks. He was the unquestioned leader. He was the player every defensive game plan revolved around. And despite all that attention, he still produced when it mattered most. But to keep this conversation fair, we also have to acknowledge the other side of the debate. The biggest criticism centers on his efficiency. Throughout the finals, the opposing defense threw every possible look at him. They trapped him, sent double teams, and made every possession as physical as possible. As a result, his shooting percentage dropped to 39.6% from the field during the finals. In Game 3 is the number critics always point to because he shot just 28% from the field. If you only focus on the percentages, it's easy to argue he wasn't the best player on the floor every single night. But that's only part of the story. Basketball is about far more than one shooting stat. The Knicks still found a way to win Game 3 despite his rough shooting performance. Then, in Game 4, when New York desperately needed a comeback, Brunson erupted for 36 points and created the play that led to the game-winning tip-in. He remained the driving force behind the offense, even on possessions where his own shot wasn't falling. His ability to attract multiple defenders constantly created opportunities for teammates like OG Anunoby and Karl Anthony Towns. That brings us to the Finals MVP discussion, because there was a real argument in favor of OG Anunoby. His efficiency was outstanding, and he knocked down the biggest shot of the series. But when you hear analysts break it down, people like Ashley Nicole Moss point to something much bigger. She explained that when everything is on the line, every team needs someone to ignite the offense. That's exactly the role Brunson played. He was the engine that kept everything running. He accepted the responsibility every single possession. This is where the gravity argument becomes impossible to ignore. Every time Brunson touched the ball, the defense collapsed around him. The opposing team kept throwing double teams and extra defenders his way, doing everything possible to force the ball out of his hands. That attention opened quality looks for players like Anunoby. OG often finished the play, but Brunson was the one creating it. He absorbed the contact. He initiated the offense from start to finish. That's the type of impact that rarely shows up in a box score, but often decides championships. Now let's circle back to the question that inspired this entire conversation. Mase and Cameron asking whether Jalen Brunson is truly the best player in the NBA. If you've watched their show before, you already know the energy. It's unapologetically New York, brutally honest, and never afraid of a controversial opinion. Cameron made it clear that the pressure was on the Knicks to deliver, and according to him, Brunson answered every challenge. In his eyes, Brunson lived up to every bit of the hype. Mase, however, had a very different opinion earlier in the season. When Brunson went down with an injury, Mase suggested it might actually work out in New York's favor because it could open the door to landing Kevin Durant. Seriously, think about that for a second. That's one of the boldest takes you'll hear. The idea that losing Brunson could somehow be beneficial because it might lead to KD now feels almost unbelievable, but it also shows just how dramatically the conversation has changed. There was a time when some people viewed Brunson as a replaceable or simply a second option. Today, he's widely seen as the franchise's foundation, and that's exactly what makes this debate so fascinating. For years, fans believed the best player in basketball had to be a dominant 6'6" wing who could do everything, or a towering 7-footer controlling the paint. Brunson is proving that theory isn't the only path to greatness. At 6'2", he isn't the biggest, the fastest, or the most physically overwhelming player on the floor. Instead, he's redefining what an old-school point guard can look like in today's NBA. He's the kind of old-school point guard who wins with elite footwork, physical strength, and one of the sharpest basketball minds in the game. For years, people questioned whether a smaller guard could truly carry a team to a championship, but Brunson has completely changed that conversation. He proved that skill, toughness, and determination can outweigh size and athletic advantages. If you want to be considered the NBA's best player in 2026, you have to solve today's complex defensive schemes, and Brunson has done exactly that. He protects the ball with his body, changes speeds effortlessly, and owns a mid-range game that defenders still struggle to take away. That's the formula that has made him one of the toughest covers in basketball. Now, let's put his accomplishments into historical perspective. If we're talking about the greatest players in Knicks history, Brunson's name is already entering that discussion. At first, that might sound unbelievable. After all, you're comparing him with icons like Walt Clyde Frazier, Willis Reed, and Patrick Ewing. But Kendrick Perkins went on national television and argued that if Brunson delivered a championship, he'd become the greatest Knick ever, without question. He even dismissed the usual comparisons by saying, "Don't come giving me Clyde Frazier and all that." Of course, longtime fans and basketball historians aren't ready to hand over that crown so easily. And honestly, that's understandable. Willis Reed represents everything the franchise has stood for in terms of leadership and toughness. Clyde Frazier remains one of the smoothest and most accomplished players the organization has ever seen. Even so, it's impossible to ignore the impact of recent history. Brunson accomplished something no Knicks superstar had managed since 1973. He brought a championship back to New York.
In a city where sports heroes become legends forever, that kind of achievement guarantees a permanent place in history. Even respected analyst Fran Fraschilla has started placing Brunson among the faces on the Knicks' Mount Rushmore. Is he already ahead of Clyde? Has he surpassed Willis Reed? That's a debate historians will continue to have for years. The bigger takeaway is that he's already part of the conversation after only a handful of seasons in New York. He's being mentioned alongside the franchise's greatest legends, and if he's reached that level within Knicks history, it's only natural that people are discussing his place among the NBA's elite as well. So let's answer the question everyone keeps asking. Is Jalen Brunson the best player in the NBA right now? The truth isn't completely black and white. If you're choosing the most naturally gifted individual talent, you could still argue for Nikola Jokic or Victor Wembanyama. If pure athletic dominance is your standard, Giannis Antetokounmpo has a strong case. But if we're judging the complete package, leadership, production, clutch moments, championship impact, and winning at the highest level immediately after the finals, then Jalen Brunson has earned the spotlight. He answered every challenge placed in front of him. He overcame elite defensive game plans. He elevated everyone around him. He delivered the scoring, the leadership, and now the championship to validate it all. His career has been a steady climb from an important role player in Dallas to the unquestioned face of the Knicks. He's become the player every team fears with the game on the line. Based on everything we've just witnessed, the strongest case belongs to Brunson. He didn't inherit that reputation, he earned it. And perhaps the biggest sign of all is the level of respect he's now receiving throughout the basketball world. Right now, the conversation has reached a completely different level. We've heard every debate and every headline-grabbing opinion, but one argument continues to hold up under real scrutiny. Jalen Brunson deserves to be mentioned at the very top. Some fans will still say he hasn't cracked the all-time top 50, and that's a fair discussion, but winning a championship completely changed the way his legacy is viewed. As things stand in today's NBA, there's a legitimate case that he's the player everyone else is chasing. And for New York, that's something fans have waited decades to experience. After so many disappointing seasons, they finally have more than just a superstar. They have a proven champion. He's fearless when the pressure is highest, relentlessly hardworking, and impossible to overlook. That's exactly why this story has captured the entire basketball world. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Do you agree with Skip Bayless and Knicks fans that Jalen Brunson is the best player in the NBA right now? Or do you think someone else still owns that crown? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next deep dive.